You're tuning in to the Cube Tutor. MTGx Final Fantasy is out, and I am super excited to jam some of these awesome new cards into my cubes. If you're looking for inspiration in your cube creating endeavors, here are my 20 favorite cards for Cube from Final Fantasy. As a disclaimer, I think that every card has a cube that it's perfect for. This list is just cards that I think really popped for me. I think they can add some variety to your cube in one way or the other, rather than being generically good. Now, let's dive in. First off, we have Lightning, Army of One. Red-White aggro is a mainstay of many cubes and can focus on a mix of damage spells and efficient creatures to win. Lightning is both a great combat body and empowers your damage spells to close out games. Remember, she'll trigger before normal strike damage, so you can use the double damage trigger to save your other attacking creatures. Cloud, Midgar Mercenary. Cloud operates like a more aggressive Stoneforge Mystic. He doesn't cheat equipment out, but his second ability can make cube staples like the swords of X and Y and Umezawa's Jite even more backbreaking than they already are. Raoban, Bull of Alamigo. Colossus Hammer plus Raoban equals one very dead opponent. Ward is always a little bit iffy, as it can sometimes feel like it's just hexproof, but this one feels like a good fit, both mechanically and thematically. If you've played FF14, you know exactly what I mean. Next up, we have Esper Origins. This card makes my value-obsessed lizard brain go spastic. An early way to fix your draws and feed your graveyard, followed by a really well-costed creature a few turns later. This single spell slots easily into more archetypes than most cubes can even support. Quistis Trepe, I'm pretty sure that's how it's pronounced. On her face, she's just a worse Snapcaster mage, but honestly, sometimes that's all you gotta be. The fact that she's legendary and can target spells in any graveyard pushes her into fun and playable territory, since Legendary Matters, Wizard Kindred, and Spellslinger are common archetypes in most cubes. Ultros, Obnoxious Octopus. FF has a ton of really neat cards that give increasing benefit in the mid and late games, a few of which are on this list. Ultros is hilarious, and can randomly be a huge blowout in blue, a color that usually only gets finishers at the 6-drop and greater slot. In the right cube, this could easily be a pack one, pick one bomb that defines a player's draft. Sorceress's Schemes. This card is just neat. We don't often see cards that can snag spells from exile, and the added mana ramp that's been tacked on can create some interesting situations when it comes to cheating out spells for free. I'd love to see some cube architects figure out ways to abuse this card. Realm Sketching. It's a perfectly on-curve clone that creates a token and can target multiple permanent types. Seeing this at uncommon is great, as peasant cubes will love having access to a card like this. Thunder Magic. Burst Lightning is already a cube all-star, so I can easily see Thunder Magic finding its way into a Spellslinger or Burn archetype that most cubes support. I really like Tiered, as it's a bit more interesting than Multi-Kicker and allows more mana investment late game than normal Kicker. Golbez, Crystal Collector. A bit situational for some cubes, but his cheap casting cost and great mid to late game value can't be denied. I could see a player completely blowing out their opponent by returning a Metalwork Colossus to their hand in the final stages of the game. Joshua, Phoenix's Dominant. I love the design of the dominant cycle of creatures from FF16. They all have a decent enters effect for their mana cost, but don't immediately seem like anything special. It's when you can flip them into his summon side that things get really crazy. The first 2 chapters come attached to an evasive 4/4 body, so that's 12 damage over 2 turns. And the 3rd chapter is nuts in most red-white aggro lists, since your creatures are usually 1 or 2 drops. Don't forget that you trigger his enters effect again when he returns to his front side, fueling your graveyard to recur again. Noctis, Prince of Lucas. Another situational piece, but one that feels powerful while not too blandly good. I love cards that allow you to access your graveyard for a price, and the finality counters provide both a way to balance out that great effect, while also allowing for abuse in archetypes that have ways of removing counters. The Emperor of Palamecia. Holy cats, this card is nuts. A very affordable ramp creature for red and blue spell decks that flips into a bomb that burns your opponents based on the number of spells in your bin. The number of roles this card performs cannot be understated, and makes him an excellent addition to pretty much any cube. Next up, we have Shantoto, Tactician Magician. Spellslinging eating real good with Final Fantasy, it would seem. Shantoto is a mix of Is It Blitz win condition and spells matter value creature. It's not going to be an auto-include in every cube since you need to lean heavily to one archetype or the other to really get the most value out of it, but really good nonetheless. Buster Sword. I picked Buster Sword because I really want to see more cards that can fight with the swords of X and Y for slots in cube. Not because I dislike those swords, rather because I really want to see some diversity to keep things interesting. I'm also a huge fan of cards that let you cheat stuff in weird ways, and the amount of damage that you've dealt this turn is a neat restriction. Next up, we've got World Map. Fairly simple, clean, and to the point. World Map is a great second expedition map that can sometimes just be used as a quick way to fix mana by fetching for a basic. If your cube runs some Lands Matters archetypes such as Tron, Gaia's Cradle, or Field of the Dead, I highly recommend this one. Kryl Valdesian. Blue-white rarely gets access to abilities like this, both tacked onto a creature and at mana value too. There's a lot of room to play around with this little legend. It requires having balanced mana values across spells in your deck, but forcing your players to have to actually think about their plays creates the most interesting cube games in my opinion. Champions from Beyond. One heck of a finisher in most decks that want it, and an excellent play no matter which turn you drop it. You can play it with X just being 0 to get it on the battlefield and start triggering its combat abilities, or use it to close out a game with a massive Anthem effect. Either way, I love everything about this card. Lice Hexed. The way that WotC has developed the monk archetype in modern MTG is a lot of fun. Second spell matters really feels rewarding, and is perfect for the flurry of blows theme that they're going for. Lice exemplifies this. She reduces spell costs so it's easier to cast 2 spells on a turn, she has Prowess, an ability that's eponymous with monks, and when you cast your second spell, she gets Double Strike, making her a formidable attacker for just 3 mana. She's perfect for a cube that wants to make blue and white their spell-slinging color pair, instead of the usual red and blue. Hermes, Overseer of Elpis. Murmuring Mystic, eat your heart out. Here comes Hermes, Overseer of Elpis. Same mana cost, but easier to trigger, creates better tokens, and has a nice attack trigger for his little birdies. You'll love to see it. And that's a wrap on my 20 favorite cards for Cube from Magic the Gathering x Final Fantasy. Are there some cards I didn't cover that you're interested in slotting into your cube? Was I totally off base with my picks? Or did I point out some cards that you would have glossed over otherwise? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching the Cube Tutor. Be good, and I'll see you in the next one.